Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Today in this video I'm going to share some failures from my droning experience. I have already made 255 flights and I call this video my 8 drones failures and lessons from them. So I'm inviting you to the journey on our beautiful planet of Earth, and our first stop is the city, but wait for a while. Now it's time for the first lesson. Mind what you are shooting. I was flying in the beautiful town of Ozerna, amid the forest, but this town is located near the air base, which is under surveillance of different secret services, like a KGB in the Soviet time and NAV of the Secret Service of Ukraine. So I just was flying over there and shooting the city, no the air base. I posted this video on YouTube, and after a couple of days the person from the Secret Service of Ukraine contacted me and kindly asked about the meeting. So I had no option then to meet with him, so he was very polite and asked me to remove some part of the video or blur them, even some part of the video which were took from Google Earth. And he said that I even was able or allowed to fly in this area, despite DJI Fly app showed me something else, but I needed to check the allowed fly areas on the official government aviation website. So as you might notice, there are different areas and there are much more prohibited areas if you check it on the official government website than on DJI Fly app. So and here the second lesson comes: mind where you're flying. Now it's time to travel to another country, to the Middle East and to Turkey, and to the major city of this country, to Istanbul. It's one of the largest cities in the world with a population more than 12 million people. I was just enjoying the cuisine, the landscapes and the hospitality overall of this beautiful country and the city. So nothing could be wrong. I just was flying a lot around the city and started my regular fly. Everything was pretty fine, so I just decided to shoot the Sultan Ahmet area and Golden Horn Bay area. So everything was pretty fine except the strong wind warming, which I was observing all the time, almost all the time during this flight. So it's kind of nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I need to be more attentive, but I didn't pay a lot of attention on this warning. But when I started to get back to the home point, I noticed that the speed of flying is pretty small, about 1 or 2 meters per second. I started to be nervous, despite I have been in such situation before, but I have never been in so overpopulated city like Istanbul. There is no single place to land, since there are either sea or bay or some overbuilt area. Of course I noticed Gulkhan Park on the right, but to land the drone under the control over the distance of 1 kilometer, it's impossible. So I just lost the signal with the drone on the battery of about 8%, and usually there is a landing process started when the battery level lower than 10%, and actually here you can see the video from the drone. It just started landing. I had silently said goodbye to my drone, since it's impossible to successfully land the aircraft in such conditions, but I decided to run the distance of 20 minutes of walking to see where it is. So but as on video you can see, some miracle happened. Drone was not only landing between two buildings, but was also landing only 20 centimeters on the right from the wall. It landed pretty successfully, and you know, the chances that it happened was pretty small, but it actually happened. So just make a conclusion. Lesson number 3: mind the wind direction. Before flying too far away, just test the drone, how it reacts on the wind, backward and forward, etc. So I was lucky and I landed on the backyard of the mosque in the Islamic country. I hope I didn't break any law. This guy noticed my drone, so he picked it up and I successfully took it away with some little tip for this guy, for this nice guy. So thanks for him for giving my drone back to me. And now let's fly back to my motherland, to Ukraine, and to city of Kamianske in Dnipropetrovsk Oblast. I was just flying and shooting over the industrial areas and the bridges across the Dnipro River, the main river and the biggest river in Ukraine. So there were some interesting fishermen on the ice, and I was just flying and filming myself. And here's the lesson number 4 comes: mind the trees. Now you can see what I mean. Just look at it. Always be careful with trees. I just was flying and crashed in the trees. It's not operable anymore. Drone just crashed in tree and fell down from the height of about 15 meters. Yeah, you can see the result on the screen. So the problem was it happened during my long way trip from Kyiv to Kherson following the Dnipro River, and it was 1000 kilometers trip, and Kamianske is located only 50 kilometers from Dnipro city, which is one of 6 cities where I can repair the drone in this country, in Ukraine. So I was very lucky again, since I needed to drive only about 30 minutes and bring the drone to the service. So inside electronics works well, and thanks to Drone Center UA for helping me out with it, and especially thanks to Andrei. So it costed me only about $100. I have just taken away my drone from the service, so it should fly fine. I hope so, because there is no any warranty since it was fallen, but I hope it will serve me a lot in the future. Since my drone was fixed, I decided to fly over the Dnipro city and shoot this beautiful city, the center of the city and the very famous industrial area. So I was flying over the palace of Vladimir Ilyich Lenin, that's a very famous communist. So I started my fly from this very interesting wagon. And what you think? Again, you might think that I did it deliberately, but it's not true. So the lesson number 4 again, mind the trees. So I crashed in the tree again, but this time luckily drone didn't fall down. So, and I started thinking for the solution how to get my drone back from that tree. The height was about 7 or 8 meters, so pretty high. I started looking for the solution, so I took the branch with the soft leaves and put it below under the drone in order to beat it further and make sure that the falling will be pretty soft for the drone. Maybe this time it will not crash and I will not need to find for the Andrei and Drone Center UA. But yeah, it's very hard to find so long branch of 7 or 8 meters, but I was lucky. There were a lot of branches from the old trees nearby, so I decided to combine and stick it together in order to get to the drone. So because this construction was about 6 meters, but it was not enough, so I was about 1 meter from my drone. So yeah, this construction is very unstable, and even if I beat it, it's not guaranteed that I would catch it or it would land softly. But I was lucky, since the area was very heavy in terms of transport, and I picked this interesting vehicle, and this guy started to help me. Before that, I called the emergency service, and they declined my request, since they said that they rescue only people, not drones, from the trees. So it was pretty interesting experience, since I have never been placed in such vehicle. So I took my drone from the tree, and yeah, it was very lucky and very in time car. So here you can see undamaged drone. It's unbelievable, thanks to this guy. That was a really unique experience, so I have never asked for help. It's like a very casually this guy was driving through this road, and I just picked him up. And now let's jump to the next lessons. Here we are flying to the city of Kyiv. It's the capital of Ukraine. I was conducting the test in order to compare the distance range which DJI Mini 2 can fly with and without Yagi UDAS antennas on the remote controller. Here you can see me on the hill, and the battery level is drained pretty fast, and when it reaches 10%, you have already known, the drone starts landing automatically. So you just need to find a good place to land. Here I found some empty space between the bushes, and here the lesson number 5 comes: just mind the battery level. So I didn't calculate it properly, and I didn't fly extra
low battery.
200 meters. But since I didn't fly,
low battery.
I needed to go it by on my foot. So it's just the next hill, and I successfully got there and picked my drone. It's undamaged, fortunately. And I conducted the same test, and the distance to the home point was about 2 kilometers, as you might noticed, and the battery level was 10%. So here, not only battery level, here's another problem. The point number 6 by the distance. So I was not able to cross this water storage, and I just started to look for the place where I can land. So there was some factory or plant either, so it was now pretty far away from me, or 4 kilometers. I started driving pretty fast and look for the drone, and yeah, what do you think? It's on the tree again. So luckily in this case it didn't fall down. I picked it up from the tree, and basically, you should remember the trees are main enemies of drones. You need to be very attentive. Mind the trees. Look at this. Look at this. It seems almost undamaged. Only some scratches in these propellers. Camera looks fine. And now let's fly to the city of Zhytomyr to learn the final 8th lesson, and that's the most kind of painful lesson for me. I was flying across the river of Teteriv. Everything was pretty fine. I was just flying ahead, and I started get back, and finally you can see on the altitude I lost the drone. So what happened? I just beat the power lines and droned the drone. So the lesson number 8, the final lesson, just mind the power lines. So at that point of time I didn't know that drone just go to the bottom, and we started so-called rescue operation. So we took the boat, but this way DJI Mini, my first drone, during the fighting operation, just beat the power lines, and now is laying down on the bottom of this beautiful river of Teteriv. And yep, so when I was flying ahead, so I had seen these cables. But as you have already might noticed in the case with trees, I am a tough learner, so I was flying back and I beat in these cables, and the drone just drone it and go to the bottom of the river. Thank you for being with me in this journey. So if you like it, please don't forget to hit the like button and maybe to consider to subscribe to my channel in order not to miss the next drone related stuff. I'm not promising a lot, but in any way. And have a nice flight, and yep, don't forget and mind the trees. Bye bye.